Chapter 3: A Midnight Stroll. I wake up covered in sweat, my heart racing, my thoughts swirling. I sit up. I go out to my window and stare at the stars, hoping it would calm me down, make me sleepy. I listen to the owls tell stories, crickets call for mates, but after the midnight winds begin to howl and my mind is not quiet, I give up on trying to get any more sleep this night. There's just too much going on in my head, so many thoughts. So I put on a clean tunic and soft-soled shoes, look out the window to be sure I am not being watched, and grab a container for fireflies and glowworms, so I can see my path and sneak out the window, shutting the gate quietly behind me. There was no rational or complicated reason I decided to do what I did. True, I was usually a good kid, but I knew that I had to get out and have some fresh air, to think over all that was swirling around in my head. I walked down the road. It was quiet, except for the aforementioned owls and the wind. I was hungry, so I grabbed a few fig apples from the bushes lining the streets and drink some of the clean, cold water from the stream. The fruit that lines the streets of our permaculture forest gardens was free to anyone that was hungry, be they human or non-human. I very quietly thanked the living forest as I continued to walk. I continued on up over the hill, and at the end of the road I see a light coming from a cave. As I walk closer, I can hear people talking, laughing, and I think singing. This is odd, I say to myself. Everyone is supposed to be sleeping now. I peer in the doorway and then walk in cautiously. No one seems to notice at first. There are people huddled around laughing and drinking, people dancing. Then, as I take a few steps inside, it is dead silent, and I can feel a dozen or more eyes on me. I start to back up slowly. I'm sorry, I say. I was just curious. It seems like the eyes are judging me, sizing me up. I hear a loud, familiar laugh. He is with us, a voice says. I look around and smile. I have never been so glad to see Zephyr be in all my years. Thank you, Zephyr, I call out. But what are you doing here? I was just having a drink, but now I seem to be saving you, it seems. He says, I should ask you what you are doing here as well. Don't you know this is an invite-only bar? Have some elderberry wine. Wine? I ask. Did I say wine? Zephyr says. This is special juice. Not at all wine that is only to be used on special occasions. I laugh and take a big drink. It is a special occasion, I say. He side-eyes me. And what special occasion would that be where you are skulking about illegally during the night, he asks. You're here illegally too, I say. Indeed, he says. I just could not sleep. I've been having these dreams, these visions, and I say, Zephyr cuts me off. Have you met my fiancée, Amber Wasp? He says. I smile. Pleased to meet you, fellow sapling, she said. Pleased as well, I say. The boys had a bet that you would never leave the house. You would just go home and go to work and go do as you were told for the rest of your life, all the way up until you became a gnarled old trunk. Me? I always knew you would one day leave, he said. That's nice, but Zephyr, I say, I have been having these visions and I need to talk about them. I don't think everything is as it seems in Zebra Nation. Is it? He asked with a smirk. Are we really to concern ourselves with such things? I keep seeing the Queen. She's chasing me and my mom at the gate. I don't know exactly what happened, but it's not good, whatever it was, I tell him. You're not having visions, Cloudy Sky, Zephyr says. So let's talk about something else. Maybe Amber Wasp. But, I mumble. Let's talk to my love, dear Amber Wasp. She's a runner too, you know, he said. I am very pleased to meet you, I say, but Zephyr, why do I get the feeling you are ignoring me and my vision? Zephyr laughed, then paused. Fine. Let us have a drink, and better yet, let's talk about your vision. Loudly. Let's talk about the Queen. Let's have more drinks, he yelled. A few people side-eyed him. Be quiet, they said curtly. You're going to have the sentries after us. I'm sorry, Zephyr said, sheepishly. I'm just trying to prove a point to my naive friend here. I am ignoring your visions for a reason. But my mother, she died trying to cross the gate, I said. Let it go, Zephyr said, now quite annoyed at me. I didn't know what to say. I'm truly sorry, he said. I can see why you were out walking and what happened was awful. But that was a long time ago, Cloud. It doesn't matter how long ago it was, I rebutted. Idealistic idiot, Zephyr mumbled. I was taken aback. Zephyr hardly ever got angry. I must have really upset him. We both looked at each other and then away. Amber was tugging at Zephyr's coat. I think we should go, she said, looking at me, annoyed. They both smiled. She is right, Zephyr said, and stood. And you should go too. We have caused enough noise tonight. Zephyr smiled, but it didn't seem quite as bright as usual. Zephyr walked out with Amber and I walked behind him. I was 3 steps from the door, however, when a hand grabbed me from behind and forced me onto a stool. I was dazed, dizzy from the alcohol. Can I help you? I asked. The man who was sitting across from me was hunched over. I thought at first he had fallen asleep, but his eyes were just half closed and he was staring right at me, draped in a huge robe and shrouded in darkness. What do you want, Cloud? He asked. I was just out walking to clear my head and I stuttered. Not tonight, he said. You are such an idiot. I mean, what do you want? Period. From your life, what do you expect having a vision to change? Well, I don't know. I guess I was just expecting more even though I shouldn't, I said. Even though you shouldn't, he repeated. I guess I just want things to be more than what they are, I said. I really don't know why they stuck me with you, he said. They must be trying to punish me. Hurricane? I asked. You are a slow one, Cloudy Sky, he said. Why did you stop me? I asked. Because I need you to think about what you want from life. You can choose to smother your dreams and fears by coming to a place like this, or you can try to do something about them, he said. Aren't you just here drinking? And what have you made of your life? I asked. I'm the one asking questions, he said. And being a hypocrite, I said. He snorted. You don't know the first thing about me or the world, he said. I know enough, I said. Do you know that tomorrow your father will feel bad and throw a party and try to get you excited about the living forest again, he said. You cannot know that, I said. I know people, and I know that you are feeling conflicted, wanting to believe in the living forest, but starting to feel like life is a little boring, he said. How did you know? I asked. You aren't exactly being coy, Cloud. That and a minute ago your friend announced your vision to everyone. You idiot, he said. Oh, I responded and stood up. Well, I guess I should go. Take the South Passage, he said. No sentries will get you. But they patrol all the roads, I said. And they are lazy and skip some this late, he said. So I will see you tomorrow, I asked. He grunted. You will. Think about what I said, he said. And then I ran home. He was right. I didn't see a single sentry on the way back.